Hello, this is Crypto Neptune. So, did you hear the gems that Simon dropped today in the KodaPay spaces? So, we're going to talk about it in this video and why the partnership with KodaPay is important to Zebec Network and what the future of Zebec Network looks like. So, let's go ahead and dive right into it.
To give some context to the relationship. So,
Yeah.
Kotapay is the payroll processing division of the First International Bank and Trust, FIBT. This is a community bank based in the US that's been in business since 1910. And the reason we partnered up with them all these years ago was to move money in a compliant way in the US, right? Not being a company at the time which held money transmission licenses in all 50 states, it made a lot of sense for us to partner with a bank that has already been in the business of moving payroll funds. And to this day, KodaPay is paying our employees in over 50 in all 50 states of the US. They're also expanding into an international business as well. So we really view them as a long-term partner of Zebec. And as the industry increasingly moves towards stablecoin payroll, it's going to be interesting to see banks like FIBT and other community banks enter the issuance game when it comes to stablecoins.
Love that. And I think one of the other things that we were also talking about, maybe bringing up during the call, was the Genius Act, which got passed a couple of weeks ago in the US, which is that kind of like first real legislative push in the US to acknowledge that stable coins are kind of like, legal and valid tender, and that people are able to kind of like process payroll using them and all kinds of things like that. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on from that end in terms of what we're doing, and then hopefully we can bring Jim up in a moment.
Well, that's definitely one of the areas we wanted to dive into today. Of course, stablecoin payroll is a concept that's existed for years with limited traction, to be honest, due to the lack of clear regulation around how banks and corporations can issue and transact with stablecoins. This, of course, all changed earlier this year with the passing of the Genius Act in the US, which effectively makes stablecoins, as you said, Ben, legal tender and issuable by certain US banks that back such tokens one to one with reserves. This is a huge leap forward for the crypto industry and has opened the floodgates for banks to enter the stablecoin arena and partner with infrastructure providers like Zebec. Because remember, we provide the rails to move stablecoins in real time and process payroll in a compliant way. Now we're seeing from both the employee side, of course, people see the value in receiving payments in a more transferable form of currency, so stable coins, as well as from the employer side. Many Fortune 500s are now holding portions of their balance sheet in digital assets, namely Bitcoin and other major tokens. So providing payroll in a stablecoin digital format also makes sense for employers. So we're seeing demand coming from both sides right now, which is why this has been such a hot topic lately.
Yeah, so there you have it. So, in this video, Simon talked about the importance of the relationship and the partnership with KodaPay. So, it allows them to move money in a compliant way in the US in all 50 states. But here's the kicker: KodaPay is expanding internationally, which again gives the Beck network an in. So, this is what we call a legal loophole. And this was smart on Sam and Simon to have the foresight to move like this. And also because of the Genius Act, more and more banks are going to want to get in the game of partnering with companies like Zebec Network because they can move money in a compliant way. And because Zebec Network always also provides the payment rails to move that money. So whether they're moving it through payroll or just transmitting the money. So this is an absolute game changer. And it's something we didn't think about far as being in those all 50 states. This was thought about years ago, and it's all of a sudden all this stuff is coming together all at once. So some great offer there by Simon. Again, with companies like Zebec Network, it's slowly and then all of a sudden it's sudden. And they're moving and they're making all the right moves of a future powerhouse. And props to Midas Gold for this post. So I definitely appreciate him for this post. So, and look at this post by Angelique. She put this post out a few weeks ago, But she says Zebec, Zebec plus KodaPay. Who is KodaPay? KodaPay has served over 100,000 companies across all 50 states with ACH payment services for 30 plus years. Yeah, this makes sense because KodaPay has already kind of built up the clientele. And again, they want to move money. Who are they going to use on the blockchain? They're going to use Zebec network. So 103 billion processed in 2024, and again 107,000 clients. So 107,000 clients. That's quite a bit. And then again in all 50 states. So this is something that some could have glossed over. If you're not in the ZBCN community, you would not have known. So again, all of this stuff is coming together at the right time. And then if we go here and look at the chart, so over the last 24 hours, we're down 5.2%, and we're sitting at 0.00417 and some change. And somebody had left a comment on one of my videos and basically was saying, "Oh, you guys are shilling the top. You're shilling the top." Guys, we are under a penny, and Zebec Network is just getting started. This is the prime opportunity to, whether you want to DCA in or whether you're looking for a project with real world use case like Zebec Network, to potentially get in, because you want to get in on a discount. And again, it's below a penny. So this is not a talking about the project at the peak euphoria. This is giving new investors an opportunity to get in. How do you buy ZBCN? I will leave a link in the YouTube description in order for you to download crypto.com and buy ZBCN via crypto.com. We are currently sitting at a $359 million market cap and 19.6 million in trading volume over the last 24 hours. So we haven't looked at the holders. We didn't look at the holders the last video. So we're getting closer and closer to 82,000 holders. So 81,823 and growing. And again, all hands on deck in this community. Everybody is out spreading the message, and the holders continue to grow. And why do I feel confident in ZBCN? I feel confident in ZBCN also because it's on Solana. It's a fast blockchain, affordable fees, and there is a lot of heavy hitters on Solana. The volume is pretty much through the roof on this blockchain because of all the trading on the meme coins. And at some point, some of that volume is going to have to come over to other projects on Solana. And this project here is definitely one of those that's going to take things to the next level. So I hope you gained some value from this video. So again, Simon talking about a global takeover perhaps. It seems like it's in the cards. We're already moving money in the US, and as time goes by, this could also be a global play. I want to thank you for listening to this video, and thanks for stopping by.